We all have those brands that, you know, we see all over social media and we're like, oh yeah, I should probably try that. And maybe you've picked up one or two pieces from it, but it's not a brand you're really familiar with. Today we're going to dive into Hourglass and figure out whether Hourglass is all hype or if the products are actually worth the attention they're getting. Hey everybody, welcome back. So today we're talking about Hourglass. Hourglass recently had a make your own quad of their powders. And so I took advantage of it and picked some of my favorite Hourglass products, shades, and then got a new highlighter color, something that I have not tried before. When I say my favorite Hourglass, I have picked up Hourglass products before. I have the palettes. These are the things that become viral because there's like different ones that come out and different shades in them and different cover art and everybody gets very excited. I've had quite a few of them that I've actually decluttered and sold. I've kept a few as well because I do really like the Hourglass powders. I think the formulas are good. I don't generally love the packaging, which I'll get into a minute. It's interesting, when I went to research to do this video, I wanted to see how many Hourglass products I actually had, and not surprisingly, I don't have that many. I don't have that many because Hourglass has never been, to me, one of my core brands. However, when I looked at all the products that I pulled from my collection that are Hourglass, I like every single product that I have from them. And in fact, I think their brushes, these are synthetic brushes, are some of the best synthetic brushes on the market. So I started to think to myself, okay, well then why don't I? Why don't I gravitate towards Hourglass? And you know what I think it is? Honestly, I think it's because it is marketed in a way that is towards the TikTok fandom. I have nothing, well, I was going to say I have nothing against TikTok. I do have things against TikTok, but it's not that, I mean, if you're younger and you love TikTok, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. What I'm saying is I don't generally fall into that category. I am older. I am looking for products that are better for more mature skin. I like luxury packaging. My skin is very dry, etc., etc. And why does that matter? Because here's the thing, guys. As a former makeup artist, I can tell you, it does matter what your skin is like. And if you have a makeup artist that tells you, or a sales associate that tells you it doesn't, they are lying to you. It does matter if you are 20 or if you are 70 when you put on somebody's makeup. Now, it's not to say I haven't seen 70-year-olds who have amazing skin. There are many, especially nowadays, that people take much better care of themselves. And at my age, I think I have much better skin and take better care of myself than people did, 50 years ago. So I'm not saying that. I'm just saying your skin changes. Your features change. Things just happen. And so the products need to be made in such a way to take those things into account. Hourglass really isn't focused on that, which is fine. So I think when I think of the products, I think, oh, that's probably not going to be for me. But here's the thing. I'm using them all today and we'll get into it. I like all of these. And in fact, it has led me down a rabbit hole to where I now feel like I need to pick up more Hourglass products. And so I'm going to ask you what your recommendations are going to be. So the first thing I want to talk about is the simplest thing. In my mind, it's the simplest thing. These are the Unreal products. These are the dropper products, the blushes and the highlighters. And the highlighters I just picked up during the Sephora sale, and the blushes I've had for a while. And I do have them on my face today. And as you see me applying them, this is what I'd say about these. I think that these are some of the best liquid highlighters and blushes that exist of all my liquid highlighter and blushes that I have. They are really good. They blend in beautifully with the skin. They don't accentuate texture. They're very subtle. They work, I would think they would work for oilier skin to dry skin. They last a really long time. There's a lot of different shades. The only drawback that I can find, and I'm gonna pull up my phone here just to look at the Hourglass page. The only drawback that I can find is some people might have an issue with the dropper because I have heard stories, and some of these stories are like secondhand stories, that the dropper breaks which, you know, like I said, and I think I've said this in other videos, if it breaks, yeah, that's a huge problem. Mine have been fine. I haven't had any problems with these. They are $38, and I've had these blushes for quite some time, and honestly, I haven't gone through very much of this. I mean, very little of this, actually. You know, I've used just a small amount. I have Seen and Vision, which I will show you on the back of my hand, but there are 7 shades, so I have 2 of them. It looks like they have a decent formulation, like it's well made. It plumps and hydrates. It's buildable, which I agree it is, and it has a really silky texture that melts right in. It looks really nice. If there's a problem with the dropper, again, I haven't had it. I'm not saying, you know, that anybody who has had a problem is making that up. I'm saying I have not had that problem. And these products continuously live in my top drawer. And, you know, I don't put things in here that I don't like. So I don't, like I said, I don't know what to say about that other than, I guess it's just because I just don't think of Hourglass as my kind of brand. And I think I have to change that because actually I like all of these products quite a bit. All right, so this is Seen. It's a little bit more of like a matte. And then this is Vision that has more of a little bit of like a more of a shimmer, more of a luminescence. And Seen is the one I have on today. I like them all. There's a warm peach beige, a bright pink, a warm coral, a rich terracotta, and a deep berry, which I do not have. So, you know, I would be very tempted to try more of those and see like what kind of, you know, other shades are out there. The highlighters are new, but again, it's the same packaging. And I have 2 shades. I have Evoke and I have Divine. Evoke is pale champagne, Divine is pink opal. There are 3 other shades, a yellow gold, a warm bronze gold, and a copper rose. I can tell you because I remember, because I've looked at them recently, that I didn't think the other highlighters were really my colors because they're more golden. But I liked the, you know, I like the formula and I like the look of these. The other thing I like about these, which is gonna seem funny, but again, if you're older, you'll understand, they put a little sticker on the bottom here that says the name of it that you can actually read. And I gotta tell you guys, you know, that actually makes a difference when you're trying to do something. Because you're just like, oh, okay, what is that again? And you have to look at it like this, it matters. Little things like that matter. So this is Evoke and this is Divine. And again, I think they work really well. I have them on my face today. I have it here, down my nose a little bit, and just beautiful. And I used the Evoke and the Seen today. So I used this one and this one. I really like these products. I think they're really well done. I can't say anything bad. I like them. I think the Unreal products are very good, and I have to go through the site now and try to figure out if there are other things that they have that are a similar formula, but like a primer. But I love these. I think they're great. The foundation that I'm wearing is an older foundation. And this is the Illusion foundation. It's a hyaluronic skin tint, and this was sunscreen. This, I believe, doesn't exist anymore. And the reason I think it doesn't exist anymore is the formula that this was. It's too heavy. I mix this with the CeraCreal Moisture Source, and I get a great look. But, you know, it has to be mixed because I think it's a little too thick. So I'm gonna bet the new products that they have, the new foundations that they have, they're like tinted moisturizers, are thinner. But this is in Shell, that's the color name. And it's actually like, it's too thick, but when I mix it with the Moisture Source, it's great. So I have a feeling that the other foundations that they have, and like I said, I was going down a rabbit hole of like all the things that I could possibly buy. The next time there's a sale, there's an Illusion Luminous Glow Foundation. There's the Veil Hydrating Skin Tint. There's the Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. So I know there's people out there who have tried these foundations. And then there's the Seamless Finish, which is the stick. I don't think the stick is for me, but I have tried that. I mean, I only tried it in the store. I didn't try it at home. I didn't buy it and try it, but I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, because these are all products I've bought myself. Hourglass has not sent these to me. So the Soft Glow Foundation, the Veil Hydrating Skin Tint, and the Luminous Glow Foundation. I'd love to hear any one of those. If you've worn them, what you think of them, what are your thoughts? I am the kind of person, if you haven't watched me before, and hi, by the way, if you haven't watched me before, my name is Jennifer. I was a makeup artist for Chanel half a lifetime ago. I would love it if you'd go down and hit that subscribe button, because honestly, guys, at this point in my YouTube journey, I do need to build up more subscribers and more views in order for me to stay here on YouTube, and instead of going back to lobbying, which I don't want to do. And I would love to stay here and continue to do these types of videos for you. So it costs you absolutely nothing to subscribe. Just hit that subscribe button and make sure that you're watching the videos. I'd really appreciate it. I wear very sheer light foundations. I maybe up to a medium coverage, and that's about it. So that gives you an idea of what I would be looking for. But they look interesting, and since I do like this foundation, it's just that it was too heavy. There was too much in it for me. We'll get to the powders last, because I feel like the powders are the most well-known thing for Hourglass, and also the most complex in a way. I have decluttered some of the Hourglass lipsticks. So the shades that I have at the moment, I have Oasis, I have Shore, I have another one, I just can't find it right now. But it's hot, guys. We got this weird, it's going to be 95 degrees tomorrow in Massachusetts, and it is never 95 degrees in May, okay? It isn't. And our HVAC system's not fixed yet. So this is another thing. In case anybody is out there in the Boston area and you have a really good HVAC person, please send me their name. I need to get different quotes, because the price that it's gonna cost to fix this thing is, you don't even wanna know. Like, I could buy a car, like a luxury car. If you have an HVAC person, let me know. But it's warm. It's very, very warm. Today it's in the 80s. And that's very unusual for May in Boston, but 96? And I have to go downtown because I have to get my hair done. Like, I've been trying to do stuff with my mom and a whole bunch of other stuff going on, so I just haven't had time to get it, the roots done. And I'm at, like, I have to do it. And of course I do it on the day it's 96. So it's hot. And when I went to looking for lipsticks, I was like, yeah, I can't. Like, this is the best I can do. So this is Oasis. And here's the thing about these lipsticks. They're really good. When I reviewed them forever ago, when they first came out, I really like these. I think they're great. They're creamy, they're comfortable, they last, they look good on. I don't know why I don't think of them. Like, I like the little bunny. I love bunnies. Yeah, I don't have a good answer for you. So again, this is me doing a deep dive into this product line and trying to figure out a better understanding of why, because I really do like these products. I think they're really excellent. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with my spicy brain. I also need a haircut, but again, and thank you for everyone who sent me recommendations. I am going to set that up, but I haven't had time to do that either. So these are the Phantom Volumizing Glossy Balms. And those were the unlocked satin cream lipsticks. They also have mattes, but I didn't buy any of the mattes. And then they also have the Confession Ultra Slim High Intensity lipsticks, which I also have somewhere. Where did I just put it? Oh, here we go. They look like this. And then there's also the lip treatment oil, which is just the oil, which I do have, which is also good. So this one is called At Dawn, and I have no idea if the shade even exists anymore. We'll have to look it up. But you can see it's a very pigmented. I love the little tiny lipsticks because it fits perfectly within my lip, and I like that. Then we have the Volumizing Glossy Balms. And these I can't see as well, so let's look. I can use my phone too. We have Invite and we have Wander. And there's a lot of shades of this. Like, there are, let's see, 18, there are 20 shades of this product. And the one that I have on right now is the Wander. And it's a light shade. There's not, but you can see how glossy it is. These are really nice. Like, it feels really good on my lips. I've been wearing it for a while now today, and I'm like, oh, this is nice. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me. And this one is, like I said, Invite, and it's a great shade. What I don't have for the lip products, because I have the things that I've just mentioned, but I don't have any of the liners. I don't have any of the lip glosses that are volumizing, because that always tells me, well, to me, it's always like, oh, well, you're gonna have spicy spicy pain on your lips, which I don't want. But again, all of you out there who are Hourglass people, you let me know. So I'm gonna take the Shore and I'm gonna put it on top of what I have on now. And that's a great shade. It's like, it's a very Jennifer shade. And I mean, I know it's got the gloss underneath it, but it looks really good. So let me know if I am missing out on the liners or the lip gloss or something else that I just haven't mentioned. All right, so we've covered all those things. Eyeshadows, I don't have any eyeshadows. I don't have any of the Hourglass eyeshadows. None of them. So what I have on today, let me know if I need them. What I have on today is the Diffuse Bronze Light. This is the bronzer that I actually like from Hourglass quite a lot. And one of you actually recommended it to me. It's definitely a cooler, more fitting highlight for my skin tone, and I really like this one. I like this packaging much better because I can use a bronzer brush and use it all over my face. So that's what I'm gonna do right now, if I can find my bronzer brush. And so I can just, you know, put my very large brush in here and use it all over my face. The smaller one, and I'll get to it when I show you the one that I made up, it's just a smaller space. So it's harder to take a large brush to it. But that's the only, like, the formula is the same. It's just, I don't like the fact that I have to get to it with these other things around it. But anyway, so that is the same bronzer that's in this. It is the Diffused Bronze Light, and that is the one that works well for me, and I have it on my eyelids because I do not have any of the eyeshadows. So you guys are gonna have to let me know. All right, so the other shades that I picked up that are in here, we have the bronzer is Diffuse Bronze Light, as I just said. The blush is Mood Flush. Highlighter is the only thing that I haven't used before. It's called Opal Strobe Light. And the finishing powder is Dim Light, which is like one of the first, I think one of the first shades to come up, the first shades that I noticed from Hourglass as being like a really good product. So this is the Ambient Lighting Edit. This is Ghost Unlocked. This is the palette that kind of, in my opinion, sparked all of the hype around these palettes, the Unlocked palette. And in here is a number of really good shades. We have the finishing powder in Soft Light. We have the finishing powder in Filtered Light. We have the bronzer in Golden Bronze Light, which is a little too warm for me, but it's still nice. We have the blush in Nude Glow. We have the blush in Mood Flush, which is what I have in this one, Mood Flush. And then we have the metallic strobe powder in Champagne Strobe Light, which, to be honest with you, I never use. But I mean, it is pretty. It's just like a little bit golden for me. And then we have the Ghost palette. And again, this was a very popular palette. Finishing powder in Dim Light, which is what I have in this one. And it's my favorite finishing powder from Hourglass. And then we have Diffuse Light again, the finishing powder, Strobe powder in Iridescent Strobe Light, bronzer in, which one is this? Eternal Bronze Light, and then Strobe Blush in Iridescent Rose, and a blush in Sublime Flush, these here. And so these, like the strobe ones and the iridescents, they have the mixed look that has, you know, the striped patterns, the iridescence, that luminescence that the others do not have, because you've got that. I also have two other palettes. I have the Ambient Lighting Edit, which is the Barney's New York, because it's Barney's. That's why I have it, guys, which was the same as the Elephant palette. The finishing powder in here is Dim Light. Finishing powder is Soft Light. The highlighter is a Beaming Strobe Light. Bronzer is Lustrous Bronze Light. The blush is Iridescent Coral, and the blush is Radiant Rose. And these are all they're very nice products. Like, these are all good products. I will get into the formula of Hourglass in just a second, but they're all nice shades. It's not like I don't like them. And then I also have the Unlocked Tiger. We have a finishing powder that's Transcendent Light, Metallic Strobe, which is a Brilliant Glow Strobe Light, blush in a Burnished Glow, Metallic Strobe Powder, Divine Strobe Light, Metallic Strobe Powder in Copper Flash, and a blush in Iridescent Rose. So Iridescent Rose has come up a couple times. The thing that's in my opinion, a bit of a problem, I think, and maybe this is one of the reasons that, you know, I got a little off of Hourglass, is that they kept coming up with these palettes that had basically the same shades over and over again, but they had interesting cover art. So it was like, okay, you're basically repurposing the product itself, but you are taking the cover art and making that interesting to us so that we'll buy it. And, you know, I'm okay with that as a marketing scheme if you tell your consumers that's what you're doing. In other words, like if you say, hey, we don't really have a new idea, but we're going to sell you this because it's a cool, you know, packaging, because we have cool packaging and we have cool art. That's okay. Because there's a lot of people like me, for example, that bought the Barney's New York one because they love Barney's New York. And I knew that I already had the elephant palette. In fact, I think I sold the elephant palette because it's the same one. But I wanted the Barney's New York packaging. I knew very well what I was doing. It's not like, you know, anyone tricked me. But the thing is, you have to be clear about it. Like, you have to know. And I don't think Hourglass did a great job in letting people know that this is what they were doing. I think they basically realized that the powders and these palettes were their #1 sellers, and they were just gonna keep, you know, doing that and making money on it, which, I mean, I can't blame you for, until people caught on. And I think it did get a little tedious for many people, and I think people kind of got a little turned off of the palettes, and that's when they started doing, at least it seems to me that they started doing the make your own palettes, which is much more interesting because you can pick the different shades that you want. So let's talk about the powders in general. So I pulled up my notes. The reason, in my opinion, that this became popular in the first place is that the powder formulations are different than many of the powders that were on the market, especially before. They focus on light refraction rather than mattification. So instead of taking a powder and mattifying your skin, it's refracting the light in the way that the powder works. And it relies on an advanced microspherical technology to deliver a seamless blurred finish. A lot of brands have that now. Hourglass was one of the first to have one that was really good across the board, where I was just like, oh yes, I like all of the formulas. But I think that's what did it. People started using the formula and they're like, oh wow, not only are there lots of different shades and I like the palettes and I can carry the bronzer and the blush and the, you know, highlighter and the strobe powder and the finishing powder all with me, but the formulas are excellent and it gives you that blurred finish. They're talc-free, they're vegan, and they're cruelty-free. So that also helps. They have distinct formulas. There's the ambient lighting powders. Those are the finishing formulas. And they're not setting, they're finishing. So they're designed as like digital filter at the end of your look. And they use something called photoluminescent technology. Not exactly sure what that means, but they're baked powders that capture, diffuse, and soften how light actually reflects on the skin. It filters out harsh light, so it blurs your pores, or seemingly blurs your pores, fine lines, and wrinkles. The texture is very sheer, it's very lightweight, and there's no obvious glitter or chunks of anything in any of these. The Veil Translucent Setting Powder, and that's the loose setting formula, is ultra-refined weightless loose powder, which I have used, which is very good. It has finely milled diamond powder in it, and it reflects light with extreme precision to ensure that there is like zero flashback. So back in the day when we had that white cast under your eyes, it eliminates that. It's weightless, soft focus, light reflecting particles, not cakey. It's a really good product. I do like the Hourglass loose powder. I have small ones that I use that I carry with me. And then there's the Vanish Airbrush Pressed Powder. It's a micro blurring formula. And this is a high performance pressed setting powder for minimum blurring, oil control, and portability. So that's a different type of product. It's like creamy and then it becomes a matte finish when you're done. The blush and the bronzers and the highlighters, they have the same approach to the formula. There's the ambient lighting blush, there's the Unreal liquid blushes that I showed you, and there's a difference between the finish of those two, from the powder to the liquid. But it's that same idea that it's supposed to be a reflecting, non-flat, opaque color. More of a light refraction, seamless skin, that type of thing, whether it's the liquid or the powder. And it made it really popular for these blushes because the idea in these blushes is that the pigment is hand swirled into the base of the finishing powder before it's baked. So you get an artisanal type of look because it's literally, you know, spun into it. They're airy and lightweight, just like the finishing powders. And you have the original ambient lighting blush, and then you have the ambient strobe lighting blush. The ambient lighting blush is color, vivid color with a standard finishing powder, like the Mood or Diffused Heat or something like that. And then the strobe lighting blush fuses the color with their strobe powder. So you have more illuminating, more pigment. The same kind of thing with the rest of the products that they use. So when you have the understanding of what Hourglass is, and you say to yourself, okay, so the whole point of Hourglass is to refract light. The whole point of Hourglass is not to have a flat, sits on top of your skin type of finish. It actually makes a lot of sense that I like this so much, because as you get older, your skin can be more dull and it can look flatter. So what these products do is they give you the opportunity to have a younger, blurred looking, more perfect finish. So like if I take this is the new opalescent highlighter, which I have not used before. It is unlikely, we're about to find out, but it is unlikely to intensify the lines in my face or to sit on top of the skin, and it doesn't. What it does is it elongates the skin. It makes it look like it's more seamless. It blurs as it dries down, and yes, this is the powder, but still, as it dries down, just like the liquid, it sinks into the skin and creates this light refracting kind of look so that you have this more blurred, more perfected finish. That is Hourglass. I'm going to take the blush. I'm going to use the same brush here. And so the fact that I like this product, the powder, and I like the liquid, and I, happen to like the older foundation that I have and the lipsticks, it's not a shock because it actually lends itself to the thing that I am trying to avoid, which is the dull, flat look that you can get as your skin ages. So my take on all of that is, okay, now that I understand that, it's interesting to me that Hourglass is so popular with a, frankly, younger audience, because the people that actually should be looking at this product and buying it are people who are concerned with dull, less blurred, perfect skin, and that's people who are older. So what I would say is when I did all of that research, that's when I started going down the Hourglass rabbit hole and realizing that the way that this has been marketed has affected my take on the product without really looking at how it looks on me. And in reality, these powder products and the liquid products, but I think the powder products more than the liquid products, are actually exactly the types of products that I should be using on my skin. Now, I'm not saying that Hourglass is better than Chanel or Dior or Clé de Peau or anything like that. What I'm saying is that these were, their intention was to tackle the problems that many of those products from Chanel and Clé de Peau also tackle at a cheaper price point. Again, I don't love the multi-purpose, I don't love this because you have to get, and I like bigger brushes for like the bronzer and stuff. However, you can get the finishing powder and the bronzer by itself like this, which is what I did for the bronzer. And the formulas are excellent. And if you are someone who is concerned about duller skin, if you are concerned about the fact that your makeup is looking flatter and less vibrant, these are excellent products to invest in. So the next time Hourglass has a sale, I would recommend picking some things up. I am going to be putting together a cart for things that I haven't purchased. The liners, the primers, the foundations, if you guys will be willing to give me some of your thoughts about it. And also to make sure that I have all of the shades that I would be interested in, for the blush and the bronzer and the finishing powders, maybe in like a bigger, like in just a one and done kind of thing. Because it also looks really good on the eyes, just as a simple look. Now, I do not have the Hourglass mascara, but I'm going to put on a little bit of mascara and then we're going to just finish up. If you choose to leave the video here, what I would say is put together your carts, because the next time Hourglass has a sale, I'm going to let you all know. I always feel like mascara just brings things together. Overall, my take from doing this deep dive, this rabbit hole search that I've done for Hourglass is that the whole purpose of the brand is to have a lifting, light refracting, multi-dimensional, luminous look. If that's you, then the Hourglass brand is also you. The price points I think are relatively reasonable if you're talking about luxury, and I think the formulas are luxurious. The packaging, I think it is and isn't. It depends on what you're buying. The metal compacts, the palettes, I think they can definitely be luxurious, and you know, they're not expensive in regards to what you would pay if it was Chanel. Let's put it to you that way. And I think the formulas, have to say guys, like the powders I've been trying to do, you know, a highlighter versus a highlighter in like Chanel and Sisley, that video is coming. The Hourglass are extremely good. So the formulas are of that weight class. Like they are that good. And the liquid products, at least the Unreal products and the lipsticks, I think are excellent. So maybe the marketing and the intention behind the brand don't necessarily match in my mind, but maybe all of you out there have ignored all of the marketing and just been like, hey, this looks great on me, and just purchased it. But for some, you know, I'm doing a lot of different makeup looks. I'm using a lot of different brands. And so I can't always, to be honest, remember exactly how something looked on me. I remember Chanel because I worked for Chanel, but like I can't necessarily remember, oh yes, that one Hourglass powder, that was just as good, or I liked that better. Sometimes I forget and I'm like, oh yeah, I really love that. I haven't used it in a while. So it, you know, for me, the intention behind a brand, the way a brand presents itself does matter in my purchasing decisions and frankly, my wearing decisions, like what I choose to wear. The same is true in fashion. Are you a Chanel person? Are you a Dior person? Are you a Gucci person? They are very different. And the makeup tends to go with that. So I'm very energized by the research that I've done with Hourglass and the results that I've gotten from using it. I will definitely be using it more. I also used the concealer I forgot to mention under my eyes, and I really like it. I used it in 1.5 cream. I think it's very good. And I am going to put together a cart of products that I either don't have, or like I said, there's might be one or two powders that I really want to have that I either had in a palette and then got rid of, or, you know, if I can get them by themselves, I would do that. But like the liners and the primer and the foundations, which I don't have, those types of things. So I'd love to hear from all of you, because I know there's a lot of you out there that are big Hourglass people. I'd love to hear what you love, what I didn't talk about today, the things that you would recommend I put in that cart the next time there is a sale. I promise you, not only will I bring up this video again, but I will make sure you all know, because this, I mean, I would buy these things, frankly, at full price if I was, quote, a regular consumer and I was buying them for myself. But I have so much makeup at this point that it is unrealistic for me to buy everything at full price, because I would not have any money to live. My entire salary would go to that. So I have to look for things on sale, but I'm very, very impressed. Like, it's interesting to me how I didn't really understand the purpose of the brand and its powders, even though I remember back in the day buying Hourglass and liking it. So I think if it's something that you love, fantastic. If it's something you haven't tried and you like the descriptions I gave of the brand ethos, try it. And if you've only done what I've done, which is like pick up pieces here and there, or maybe just the palettes, I think there are other products in the line that are definitely worth taking a look at. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. It's going to be interesting to get all this feedback. So thanks so much for joining me today, guys. I really do appreciate it. And I hope to see you in another video really soon.